The Fitness Gram Pacer test is a multi-stage aerobic capacity test that progressively gets more difficult as it continues. The 20-meter pacer test will begin in 30 seconds. Line up at the start. The running speed starts slowly but gets faster each minute after you hear this signal. A single lap should be completed each time you hear this sound. Remember to run in a straight line and run as long as possible.
And we're back.
Your test is over.
Thanks for tuning in. This is episode 2, episode deuce of the Gym Class Podcast. Episode 1 was a lot of fun, got some good feedback. A lot of people asking me, how can I be a guest on this show? And here's the thing, I want you to be a guest on the show. I want to talk to as many people as possible. And I got to build an audience first, though, okay? Because I know it seems such a prestigious thing. You're like, oh, I want to be a guest on Angry Gym Teachers podcast because there's probably so many people who listen to that, and there's not. There's not yet. Thankfully, I have an audience on Instagram, I have an audience on TikTok, so I'm hoping I can siphon off enough of those people to listen to this thing. I'm not, starting from scratch, but at the same time, I still have to prove to podcast listeners that this thing is worth listening to. So could you do me a favor? Tell your friends about it. All right. Listen to the podcast, subscribe, give me a 5-star rating, and then share it with people. Be like, hey, do you know Angry Gym Teacher? Yeah. The guy from that video with the bee in the hallway and the kids start screaming and it's really cute and he almost got fired for that. No, I'm kidding. I didn't almost get fired for that. Don't tell people that. He's got a podcast and you got to start listening to it. So at some point, I've got a short list of guests that I want to have on the podcast, people who are friends of mine. I've got one today that I'm really excited about. And there's a bunch of others. But then I also want to do roundtable discussions with other PE teachers. I'm thinking maybe I'll have like 2 or 3 on at a time, and we'll call it Locker Room Talk. It'll be a Locker Room Talk episode. Isn't that a fun name? Locker Room Talk. We're just going to sit around and talk shop and make jokes and have some fun because that's important to me. I want to hear from all y'all because listen, we do it already, right? Like the teacher's lounge, the locker room. When the students aren't there, we sit around, talk shop, we make each other laugh. Let's bring that experience to this podcast so that we can share that with other people. I think that'd be a lot of fun. I've got a guest today. I'm very excited about it. Tom Gelardi is my guest. Tom's a friend of mine. He's a PE teacher from New York City, literally teaches in NYC. And you probably know him. I'm sure you already know him from TikTok and Instagram. I met Tom last summer when I booked a show in New York City. I've been very ambitious with my tour dates. As a comedian, typically you try to avoid those huge markets like New York City. New York City is a huge comedy city. Any night of the week, you can go out to New York City. You can go out in New York City. You can go to a comedy club, like, the Comedy Cellar or Gotham Comedy Club, and you can see famous comedians, right? For not that much money. It's not that expensive. You can go see Jimmy Fallon. You can go see Stephen Colbert in New York City, and you can see those for free. Like, it's a huge comedy city. It's a big market. So typically when you're first starting out, somebody like me, you try to avoid those big markets because, my God, I'm not that famous. But me, being the doofus that I am, I was like, I want to perform in New York City. So I got myself booked in this little comedy club in East Village and really struggled to sell tickets. I thought that I would move tickets and I just wasn't. So I messaged Tom Gelardi, who I knew was already coming to the show. I was like, hey, did you get your tickets yet? He was like, yo, yeah, we did. I was like, do you know anybody else who might want to come to the show? Because I'm kind of on the struggle bus here. And he was like, oh my gosh, yes, let me send out some DMs. And so he rallied the troops and I ended up having a decent sized audience there thanks to him because he helped me out. And after the show, he was like, I didn't think you needed help. Otherwise, I would have messaged these people already. I thought you would have no problem selling tickets. And I was like, I didn't think I would have this much trouble either. But thank you. It was a great time. He was at the show and then we hung out afterwards. We made a little video where he taught me how to do the give it a try maneuver that he does at the end of all his videos. He's a super nice guy. He was selected as Shape America Teacher of the Year, I think this past year, which is a huge deal, huge honor. He was also New York State Teacher of the Year, I think in 2022. He talks about that in our conversation here. But really awesome guy and awesome, amazing PE teacher. So I'm really excited for you to hear this conversation. Let me know what you think. Here it is, without further ado, my conversation with Coach Gelardi. All right, there he is. He's right here. Look, it's Coach Gelardi, Tom Gelardi. I was going to say Tom Gelardi, a.k.a. Coach Gelardi. You know him from TikTok, Instagram. He's here with me now on the episode 2, I think this is, of Gym Class Podcast. How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing well. I can't complain. I appreciate you having me on. This is pretty awesome.
And you are, I think, I could be wrong, but like as of right now, when we're recording this anyway, I think you're still on summer break? Yes or no?
Yes. So I think I go back on Tuesday. So
you think? You should probably know. You should probably know this thing. It's your brain is still in summer mode.
Yeah.
So you go back on Tuesday because Labor Day weekend. You have a nice long summer, but correct me if I'm wrong, you were still teaching like at the end of June, right?
Yeah, we go to the end of June, and working in the city, it's about 98 degrees, and there's no air conditioning in the gym, and it's too hot to go outside. So like the last couple of weeks, I'm in the classroom trying to figure it out until
that was going to be my next question. So
yeah.
No air conditioning in a New York City school gymnasium.
No, I mean there are schools that have, and I'm envious of that. But our school, no. And
I taught in a gym with no air conditioning for the first 10 years of my career, and we finally got central air conditioning a few years ago, and I don't know how I did. I don't know how y'all do it. I just walking around constant with the chafage and the nasty sweat. It's disgusting, and hats off to you for still putting up with that. That is insane to me. The public schools don't have air conditioning, especially in the gym.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, let's
so
try to get it together.
Yeah, teaching in June is hard too. My district released. They made a couple changes to the calendar this school year. They're giving us a week off for Thanksgiving, which we haven't had in forever, and they gave us Pulaski Day off again. I don't know if that's a thing in New York, but the trade-off is we have to teach in June. I get off June 5th. I have to teach 5 days in June, and I'm dreading it. I don't know how you do almost the whole month of June.
You just do it. That's just our way in the city. And it's funny because on the other flip side of it, now that I've been on social media so much, I hear so many teachers going back to school already. I'm like, it's the beginning of August. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah. I think Texas, they went back in the beginning of August. It's crazy how different the calendar is depending on what state it is.
I mean, teaching in June, let's face it, it's the last month. Kids are checked out. Teachers are checked out. We just need to keep them safe and prepare for the upcoming year type deal.
Not much rigor happening in June is what you're saying. Not much rigorous instruction happening.
The biggest thing is keeping them safe. What breaks my heart is, I teach outside a lot in June because it's so hot in the gymnasium. It's hot outside as well, but we play on concrete. Like we don't, we're a city school. We have just a blacktop, and I cringe every time a kid falls because the moment they fall, what's going on? We had a kid.
Is this the end? Yeah.
We had a kid break his arm the second to the last day of school. He was in a sling his entire summer.
Oh no.
Like that's what I'm trying to avoid the last couple weeks of June.
Yeah, that's tough. But it's cool that you have an outdoor area.
Speed walk.
Right. Yeah, speed walk. Walking tag.
Yeah.
Walking tag. So I want to, it's amazing how many times we have to repeat that for these kids. You would think that would go without saying to watch where you're going, but yeah. But a bunch of Roombas running around crashing into each other. So I want to talk about how you got started, how you became a PE teacher. Like, because before you were on TikTok going viral with your games and your activities, which are awesome, before you gained that following there, I'm assuming you were still a rock star PE teacher, just like most teachers, just doing your thing without, the spotlight and the camera and the followers. So how did you get started? Did you always want to be a PE teacher, or was that something that just kind of happened?
No, I wasn't really, school really wasn't my thing. When I went to elementary school, my last thought in my head was like, how do I get out of this building? Like I would never have thought to go back.
Yeah. Same, yeah.
And then I went to college to have fun and to play soccer.
Okay. So soccer.
I was exercise science degree, but that could have been undecided in my head. Mm-hmm. And I'm not kidding. I had a lot of fun in college, and I played a lot of soccer I played for Manhattan College. And it wasn't until I graduated with the degree did I look at it and say to myself, what am I going to do with this thing?
With the
And
degree, okay.
I got my degree, and I awkwardly went back about 6 months later to my college advisor, and I go, listen, I have this exercise science degree, and I'm wondering what my next move is. And she goes, this is something a freshman or sophomore would come up to me. You have already, I'm like, listen, let's get past all that. Here's where I'm at. And she's like, well, what do you like to do? I'm like, I play soccer. I really never thought past that, honestly. She goes, have you ever thought about coaching soccer? Are you good with kids? I'm like, you can make a living off coaching. And I thought to myself, I'm pretty good with kids. I remember hanging out with my cousins who were 10, 15 years younger than me and having like a blast. And I remember my aunt saying to me, Tom, you don't really have to do that the entire time. I'm like, I never minded. So I knew I was good with kids. But what ended up happening was after I spoke with my advisor, I went online and I looked up coaching and working with kids. And I came across a gymnastics center that did sports and gymnastics. And it was like, are you enthusiastic? I'm like, yes. Are you good with kids? I'm like, I'm pretty good. Do you like sports? I'm like, yeah. So I started working there, and then it was almost instantaneous where I recognized I had this like natural ability around children. I just connected to them. I was almost like a big brother type. I had like the patience, I had the sensitivity. It was like amazing. But I was making like $5 an hour with no benefits, and I'm like, I can't go anywhere with this. So I went back to my advisor, and she's like, it sounds to me like you want to be a PE teacher, and it looks like you want to do elementary. And once I found like that was kind of like my direction, my purpose, I was kind of like locked in. I went back to school, got my phys ed degree at Adelphi University, and I started. I remember when I left the gymnastics center, they're like, Tom, can you work part time? I'm like, no, I can't. They're like, well, my mother-in-law is the assistant principal in this district in Long Island. That's really a really wonderful district. Would you want to work there or student teach there? And in my head, I'm like, I'm going to go to the school right down the block from me. Like it's right there.
Yeah.
I'm not going to drive 35 minutes to a big district. Like this is student teaching. But she wouldn't let it go. So I'm like, okay, all right, I'll go. And what a blessing, because when I went to that Long Island, I call it the country club. It's like, this isn't a city school. Like they have like 2 gymnasiums, they have padded walls, they have a beautiful grass field, tons of equipment. And I met this wonderful woman, Ellen Krasner, who took me under her wing and taught me to teach movement, teach character development through movement. And I just fell in love with it. And then that's how I kind of got into teaching. And I've been bouncing around, but that's kind of how I got into it.
You've been bouncing around. So you started teaching in Long Island, and you ended up you're in New York City public schools now, correct?
Yep. I started Long Island. I had a couple leave replacements. Then I got on a probationary track. And once I got on that tenure track, that's when they started really watching my teaching, because that's when you become permanent. And I noticed they started coming in once, twice a week, 3 times a week, and I'm like, they're really giving me a ton of feedback. And I kept working on this, and they'd say to fix that, I'd fix that, then they'd try to say to fix this, I'd fix that. And next thing you know, it just didn't work out. So then from there, I had to figure it out, because at that time, it was 2010. I had a mortgage, and I was jobless, and I had to either substitute as a PE teacher. And this was back in 2010 when there was a freeze in the city anyway. They weren't even hiring.
Oh,
teachers.
Interesting. Okay.
But I was very lucky that even though it didn't work out in that district, I had made so many connections, that there were so many teachers that had looked out for future positions. And I found an adaptive phys ed job where I was working with kids that were severely autistic. And talk about night and day. I went from like a country club school to now I'm working with 6 kids in a class. I'm in a classroom the size of a closet. I have little to no equipment. And I have all these grown-ups I'm helping teach as well, because for every 6 groups of 6 kids, I have 3 adults that are helping me as well.
Okay.
It was just completely different, and I was doing that for about 3-4 years, and it was taking its toll, mainly because of 2 things. One is when you're working with kids that are autistic, they have trouble.
With a lot of things. I
For
mean, there's a lot
example,
of
if I
things.
was, if
Yeah.
I was teaching them how to throw a frisbee, I
Hmm.
would spend I was blessed to see these kids every day. So every day I'm like, throw a frisbee, throw a frisbee. 'Cause that's what their parents wanted. Like, throw a frisbee over the summer. I'm like, no problem. We worked on it
Yeah.
for 2-3 months. The kid got it. And then when it was time for the teacher, the parent to come see, I'm like, go, watch. He took the frisbee and like used it like a baseball bat. No longer. And it was only because we had moved on after working with the frisbee. We decided to move
Okay.
on to working with a
The
baseball.
recall, the context was
They
different.
weren't
That's
able to kind
interesting.
of go back. I used to
Yeah.
have to videotape to show proof that I swear this kid was learning. So that was really, really hard. And also, well, the backtrack. What I've 2 amazing things actually that had happened. One is I learned how to connect with grown-ups because I'm around them all the time,
Hmm.
and these kids are very challenging, and you need to bring out you need the adults to do more than they need to do to
Yeah,
help these
for
kids.
sure.
And
Because these are aides, I'm assuming, like
school
teacher's aides,
aides,
basically. Yeah,
and
yeah.
you know,
You have to coach them like as much as you coach the kids. You have to like coach them on how to help the kids. Like this
I
is what
spent
I need you to do.
yeah, I
Please
spent so
don't
much
sit
time.
please don't sit on your phone. Like this isn't your break time. I need you to help with these kids. And that can be hard.
It was really hard, and I figured out I had to like a student, I had to build like this rapport with them, and spent a tremendous amount of time in the teachers' lounge and walking through the halls and smiling and getting to know them personally to bring out the best of them in my class. So I learned how to connect with grown-ups, which has helped me now. And also, that's when I started making videos, because
Okay.
I was noticing that when I was working with a beanbag and I would try to transfer the beanbag from one hand to the other, the kids would do it, but the moment I would stop, they would stop. And
Okay.
I'm like,
How do you keep
so
it
how
going?
do I keep them going so I could help one of them?
Hmm.
And I realized if I just, and at the time I had just a camcorder, and I videotaped myself doing the same thing. I put it on the computer, and I was like, voila! All of a sudden, they're doing what I'm showing them, and I'm able to
That's
kind of
the
go
power
over.
of technology. Yeah.
I started assisting myself. I'm like, I'm just gonna
Hmm.
keep making videos like this, and I'll just be my own personal assistant.
That's really cool. So you're using a camcorder, and I mean, it sounds like. So you said that was about like 2010, right?
Yeah, 2010,
Okay.
2011.
So I was I did my student teaching in 2009, and I remember the camcorders. It's funny now, like we all walk around with this advanced state of the art audio video square in our pockets now. Mine is hooked up, but the smartphone. I mean, back then we had the camcorder, which had to be plugged in. Or no, I think they had a battery pack. And then I remember when we were like doing our micro lessons, student teaching, we had to be hooked up with a wired microphone, belt pack. Somebody else is filming us. But you could do. I'm assuming everything you did with those camcorders back then, you could probably do with your phone now. Like it's amazing how far that technology has come and how powerful that technology is for these kids. I
Yeah.
love hearing stories of like how, especially PE teachers, because classroom teachers, I feel like at least in my district, they get hooked up with great technology year after year. I feel like their smart boards get upgraded to like the latest model every few years, and I'm over here in the gym like, hey, I've had the same projector now for 7 years. Like when am I going to get it? But technology really does play a huge role, and it can really help, especially like you were saying with these kids who have autism who need to see that example replaying over and over again. And if you're showing them constantly how to throw a beam, you'll burn yourself out. Like it's so good to have that screen in the background showing them.
Yeah, I was blown away about how visual, how much they are visual learners, and how it made my job so much easier, and it was allowed
Hmm.
me to be creative because I'm like, all right, we're gonna work with a baseball bat. What can I do with that to show
Yeah.
them, and then I could assist myself. It was pretty cool.
And it
And
helps
but
you
while I was
conserve
doing that,
energy too.
yeah, while I was doing that, I was going back to school for administration because I knew there were no phys ed jobs. Maybe I'll just work my way up. I'll be an athletic director. Maybe I'll be an assistant principal. Who knows?
Hmm.
And then when I went back to school for administration, that's when I had met a teacher friend who worked in a gen ed elementary school and said, Tom, I think there might be an opening. And this is 2014. This was when, anyone could be a teacher. You didn't even have to be a certified elementary PE teacher. You could be just a classroom teacher that's tired of standardized testing and let me just grab a whistle and sneakers and be the PE guy.
Yeah.
I remember there were like 6 teachers in the building that went for it.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, and luckily, because there were so many teachers going for it, they decided to go with someone on the outside, and that's where I've gotten hired, and I've been in that school now ever since.
Okay.
So it's been.
And people are familiar with your school. They know what your gym looks like because they see you all over. So I want to talk about how you got started on social media, because was TikTok your first platform, or did you start on like Facebook? Like a lot of us started on Facebook. Did you have a MySpace page? I guess that's where I should start. I'm sure you didn't have a Coach Gelardi MySpace page, but when did you start on social media personally? Before we get into Coach Gelardi on TikTok,
I think professionally it was. I'm trying to think now. It was some sort of phys ed website that allowed you to put videos on there.
Oh, okay, interesting.
So I just put.
Was it PE Central?
It wasn't PE Central. It was through Gopher. They
Okay.
have the phys ed something. I forget the name of it, but they allowed me to for free just post my videos, and that's where I posted all of those adaptive videos, just for somewhere to post it so I can use it for my kids. And I didn't realize that it was going to be a resource for others as well. I didn't think me moving a beanbag from one side to the other is going to help any other teacher, but sure enough, I go to a workshop and I see some random person, hey, you've been helping my students teach. I'm like, huh? That's when I started realizing.
So you were posting those videos just for your own personal use, and people found them and started realizing, oh, this will help my students too. That's interesting.
And I thought that was pretty cool. And then when I went back to gen ed, I remember being in the classroom. I think this was 2017 or 18. I was in the classroom because of a bake sale or election sale or any reason they want to just kick me out.
They'll find a reason to kick you out of the gym. Yeah.
But I was in the classroom. There was a smart board, and I wasn't fully prepared because they told me last second I was going to be in the classroom. So they told me I had access to this smart board. They had YouTube, so I went on like YouTube follow along music. And there was like Gold Noodle, but then there were like phys ed teachers. There was like a Coach Perillo, and there was a PE specialist. But I noticed that Coach Perillo did these like dance workouts, and I put it on, and the kids were following along, and I had like this aha mode. I'm like, but I can do that too.
You can do that, yeah.
And it's funny, like when I go present places, I go like, you can do that too. They're like, oh no, dancing isn't for me. I'm like, do I look like a professional dancer? Like, it's not that, But the truth of the matter, the reason why they're hesitant is because they never tried it. The moment I've done it, and there's steps, like you take, you come up with a song, you come up with the moves, and now you have to kind of go in your gym and wait at the end of the day when no one's there and get the tripod and videotape yourself and put it up. But once you have it on YouTube and you play it for the first time and the kids just light up when they see your face and they're asking you a billion questions of like, how did you do this? And now they're just dancing along. It was unbelievably motivating.
Yeah.
And to know that at that time I was only seeing my kids once a week. Now they're seeing my face every single day because the teachers bought in. It was really pretty cool. So
they're playing your videos on the days they don't come to the gym.
I put a YouTube channel together. I was trying to think of a name that no one has taken before. So I'm like, Phys Ed Review. Nope, someone has that. Phys Ed Strong. I'm like, I'm not that strong. Phys Ed Zone.
Angry gym teacher? No, that's dumb. Let me come up with something.
I went with Phys Ed Zone.
Phys Ed Zone, okay.
Get into the zone. Auto Zone. But mine's like, thank you for visiting Zone. The Phys Ed
That's
Zone.
awesome. Phys Ed Zone.
Yeah.
So that was YouTube.
That was YouTube. And once a month I just make a dance video. So I had about 25 dance videos before 2020.
Oh, wow,
All of a sudden, the school has ended, and there was this remote learning, and people were like struggling to come up with things to do.
Yeah.
And I went on I think I went on a bunch of Facebook groups and said, listen, I don't know if this is going to help you, but I have like a library of these 25 videos I've done for my students, and if you feel like it helps, it helps. And next thing you know, I'm getting all these views from teachers that are sharing my videos with their students, and it was unbelievable.
I remember that. I remember seeing your posts in like some of the Facebook groups on those, because that was like it was a scary time to be a teacher, because we were all pulled into this new virtual teaching thing, which we had no idea how long it was going to last.
Yeah.
And
No.
yeah, we were all like, what am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to teach phys ed class to these kids while they're in their living rooms, and I can see them in this tiny little square on the screen. It's like, what are we going to do? So yeah, I remember people were, dumping all these activities like, hey, this is what I've got saved. I think I even used one of your, I think it was Dance Monkey. You made a video with that Dance Monkey song, right?
Yeah.
Does that ring any bells?
Yeah,
Pretty sure that was one of yours. Yeah.
that was when we were back at school, but we were still had to be kind of isolated.
Mm-hmm.
And I only had like 10 kids in the class when I would normally have 70, because they had to be 6 feet apart.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing them more than once a week. And I'm like, okay. And we weren't allowed to do a lot of things with equipment. I'm like, so I'm like, all right, we'll come up with some dances. And we as a class came up with Dance Monkey. I reviewed it with them. We practiced it. I'm like, this is gonna be a good one. And
The other one was the dueling banjos. Now I remember.
Yeah.
Now I'm remembering it. That creepy song from Deliverance, and you're like doing some kind of like repeat after me type thing, but with dance, like no talking, just dancing. That was
Yeah.
really cool.
yeah,
When
so-
did you start on TikTok then? Was it
Well,
around
so
that
then
same time?
What happened was, it was 2020. I only had those dance videos, and then I was told we can do we can do pre-recorded videos for our students in the beginning. It didn't have to be virtual live. I'm like, oh great,
Right.
I'll just pre-record something. But I'm like, what do I do? And I went on, I think it was Twitter at the time, now it's X, but there were phys ed teachers that were sharing like instant activities that they can do at home, like using just a pair of socks. I'm like, I can probably do that.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, we had my wife's cousin was living in our basement, and they just happened to move a month before the pandemic. And so I had this open space. We were about
There's
to
your
buy
studio, yeah.
furniture. You were about to buy Bob's. I'm like, put a hold on that.
Yeah.
I may need to use this space. And so then I started making the PE at home videos. I remember the first video was this paper ball that you bop up in the air.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew nothing about editing. Like when I was making those videos earlier, I'd run to the camera, click, run over there, do this, run back, turn it off. Like that was how I edited my videos. So when I started doing this in my basement, I was making mistakes, and I had to repeat myself, and I made another mistake. I had to do it again. Not that I'm like a perfectionist, but I wanted to be good. And,
Yeah, you want it to look good.
I remember my first video was, I think, 4 minutes long, and it took me over 3 hours
Yeah.
to do.
You want it to look good, because these kids are watching professionally produced content on YouTube these days. They're watching Blippi. I mean, these are all professionals. You want to at least, you don't want it to be embarrassing. I
already
know the
got
feeling.
bad lighting. I mean, it looks like I'm in prison right now.
It's hard. I'm in my garage. This is a green screen behind me. I don't have anywhere to go. I'm like you. Like I got noisy kids at home. We just got a dog too, so like I have nowhere to go. And that's why I've been putting off this podcast for so long. I finally just decided, you know what? I'm going to work with what I have, and I think that's
you have three
that's a hard
kids.
step to take.
You have 3?
I have 2 kids.
Two
Well,
kids.
3 counting the dog. Yeah. I have twin boys, and the puppy who ruined my summer. He's just been a nightmare. But yeah, I mean, you do the best with what you have, and I think that's the hardest step for teachers to take, especially when it comes to something so big and scary like technology, because it's such a huge. I mean, there's so many possibilities, and a lot of teachers are kind of caught in like that old school mentality of like, I just need me and my whiteboard and my voice. But technology can not only help students, it also helps you. Like that's my biggest thing with pushing PE teachers and really every classroom teachers too, to embrace technology. Is like, no, this will help you conserve your energy. You'll get more sleep. You won't age so like you'll make it to retirement, you know, like you'll make it to retirement if you're willing to put that video up, invest a little bit of time in teaching yourself how to edit, you know, put that video up in the background so that you can relax and just circulate around the class, you know. So
Yeah.
but you got to jump into that cold swimming pool, you know what I mean?
People have a hard time putting in the work early, not recognizing that the harder you work in the beginning, the easier things work out at the end.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, and so I started making those videos, and then the remote learning started to slow down a bit, and I was on TikTok just to kind of I'm always just browsing on it, and I came across a nurse that was like, tips from the ER. If you get a cut, wash it thoroughly before you stick on a Band-Aid. And I go, everyone knows that. But then you look at the comments, it's like, oh yeah, Band-Aid afterwards. Yeah, throw on that Band-Aid. I'm just like, what?
I never thought of that.
And I'm like, how do they not
Where
know
can I
this
get these Band-Aids?
basic
Where
shit?
can I get this technology? That's funny.
So I thought to myself, and this was when student teachers at that time were only getting mentored virtually. Like they actually didn't have a gymnasium to practice their craft. And so imagine your whole entire student teaching experience being online, and now you get a job, and now you're in a gymnasium. You don't know what you're doing. You're not
No,
even,
yeah.
And a
You
lot
need
of
that
those,
one. You need that time in front of the students live.
Yeah.
Like, I feel bad for teachers that missed out on student teaching
it's
because
so
of the
important.
pandemic.
And so what they do is they try to figure it out, and they're going to do what they think is best. And when it doesn't go well, they're going to say, oh, it was a kid, so it was the time of day. When in reality, they're just not very effective teachers. They just don't even know it because
Yeah.
they never had proper guidance. And so that's when I'm like, you know, I'll do tips for PE teachers. And I remember I think my first tip was like, don't let COVID bring you down. Let's do exercise and eat healthy. I don't even think I did give it a try in the
You
beginning.
didn't give it a try. It was not the
And it was
birth
also
of give
like,
it a
you
try.
know, I was also like very monotone. I'm like, tips for PE teachers. If you're wearing sneakers, just wear Velcro like the kids. It's quicker.
Yeah.
It's quicker than
Oh,
mine.
you did
know?
one, and you can tell me if this was one of those early ones, but you did one that went, I think, insanely viral. And I remember watching it, and it was something. So it was about a dead ball, like a deflated. Do you have a ball? It's like tips for PE teachers. You have balls that are deflated, no problem. And then you listed off like 3 or 4 different things you can do with a flat ball. And I thought to myself, I throw those things straight in the trash. I never thought, but that is really cool because a lot of us don't have a big budget for new equipment. Like it would be nice to have some kind of game you could play with a dead ball. Was that one of your early ones?
That was one of my early ones. I remember I did that on my lunch,
And it went super viral, right?
do you know why it went viral?
No.
I'm pretty certain it went viral because at the end of the video, I was showing them how you can use a flat soccer ball as a beginner so that it doesn't roll away. And as I was maneuvering the ball, I kind of stepped on it, almost tweaked my ankle.
Oh,
twisted
no.
my ankle. And I didn't make a big to-do out of it. And I just sent it, and next thing I'm getting all these comments. Yeah, great idea, guy. You almost broke your ankle. Yeah. What are you thinking there, buddy? You know? And
You
they
think
went-
that's why it went viral?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's why.
I
But-
don't remember that part, so I don't know if that sets your mind at ease.
But
I don't
listen,
remember that part.
And Tom, you know this. Like, you just need one. You just need the
Yeah,
one.
they pick out those little details. They do. That's how I found out I have a dead tooth in my mouth. I made this one video, and I'm smiling in the video, and it's this tooth right here. I don't think you could tell because I got lights on me right now. But with the TikTok retouch filter or whatever, I think I was using like the filter that makes you look more tan or whatever. And that filter makes my yellow tooth really pop, and I didn't really notice it until I'm reading the comments, and I come across this comment, and this comment had no words. All it was a bunch of white rectangle emojis, and right in the middle there's one yellow one. And I was like, oh my God, he's talking about my tooth. So I looked at it like, and sure enough, I had a dentist appointment that week. I brought it up and I felt like an idiot in the dentist chair because I'm like, I think there might be something wrong with my tooth because I'm being bullied on TikTok. This guy says I have a yellow tooth. So she did this test, and sure enough, the tooth is dead, and I got to get a root canal, and I'm dreading it, so I'm
Oh
putting it
my
off.
God, it's hilarious. Oh
But they pick out the tiniest things, and then they bully you. You get
Isn't
bullied
it
by,
funny how they at all their friends? They're like, "Can you believe this guy? You bully him too." Like there's this tag all
yeah,
their in
yeah.
the comments.
That's the kids the kids that were brought up with this stuff. Because like I started on MySpace and LiveJournal and early Facebook way back in the early 2000s, and it was a very nice, very friendly, zen, chill. Like social media back then was kind of like an extension of real life. Like you're hanging out with your friends. Now, I mean, these kids are raised on social media now, so it's a totally different like paradigm. The vibes are completely different, and they can be cruel.
They can be cruel, and I've noticed that if I do a video that's very positive and it just tells people to try this, the feedback is very similar. But anytime I give any sort of video where I'm saying no or don't do this,
Yeah.
without
If you
giving
take a stand on anything.
yeah, without giving like
Yeah.
a solution, it's just like just don't do this. Is where I get ambushed, and what's great about it is like I learn a lot about myself. Like I learned that I was bald. They called me a bald freak. I'm like, okay, I'm bald. They said I have one eye that's lazier than the other. I'm like, which is true. I have a lazy eye, and so they started pointing out all of my
They do that too. I'm fat. I'm fat, by the way. I'm morbidly obese, according to TikTok comments.
yeah.
But that's you know what that is though? It's the algorithms. Like I have a huge beef with these social media algorithms because, like I said, back when social media was a nice place, we would follow each other, and that's how we got to pick what kind of content we wanted to see. And now with these AI powered algorithms, the reason we get bombarded anytime we take a stand on anything is the algorithm picks it up and the algorithm says, "Oh, you're saying that you shouldn't play dodgeball with kids in PE class? Well, I'm going to show this video to every single person who loves dodgeball and who thinks that we need to toughen these kids up." And like the algorithm purposely shows the video to those people, and I'm over here and you're over here probably like, "No, I would like for you to show the video to people who like me, please. Can we show the video
Yeah.
to those my friends? Can we show it to
Yeah.
them first?" But these algorithms, man, are just kind of
It's
robbing us of our humanity, to put
makes
it
no sense. It just makes it more
dramatically.
difficult than it has to be.
Yeah, it really does.
You know,
Well, it's funny to me how similar your story is to mine. So, like, I was an exercise science major and switched to education when I decided to I wanted to be a teacher. But one big difference between you and I is you have TV credits. You were featured on the Today Show, NBC. So can you talk to me about like how that happened and how that went? What's was it Savannah? No. Who interviewed you? I'm trying to think.
Dylan Dwyer from the
What's
Today
Dylan like? How did that go? How did it get started? Go ahead.
It was amazing. I won Teacher of the Year for my state in 2022, and one of my old college roommates found that I won, and he's like, "Hey, is the city doing anything for you?" I'm like, they gave me hugs and congratulated me. They're like, "They're not going to do anything. This is like a big deal." I'm like, not really." And little did I know, behind my back, he had spoken to my wife and got my bio and sent it to the mayor, sent it to the governor, saying, "Hey, this is Coach Gelardi. He won this award, you know." And then contacted the Department of Education and said, "You know, Tom won this award. Like what are we gonna do?" And because of that, it was called Chalk Beat NYC. They did an article about me.
Okay.
And then somehow CBS and NBC caught wind of that article, and they wanted to interview me. And next thing you know, they're like, "Tom, we'd like to interview you in the beginning of the school year. Can that work?" I'm like, "I think so. We'd like to have students in it." I'm like, "Oh, all right, I'll figure all that out. When are you going to come?" They're like, "Oh, the second week in September. You'll make it work. No
Oof.
big deal." I'm like, "Okay."
That's right at the beginning of the school year.
Yeah, I told my principal. She gave me the green light, and she let me have the morning off because I wasn't sure
That's
what
cool.
they were going to come. They ended up coming around 11 o'clock in the early afternoon, and I got to work at like 7 o'clock. I'm just pacing back and forth because I was
Right.
nervous. But they had the whole studio. I mean, they had like camera galore in my gymnasium. And my principal, I never seen her look so excited because he got to meet Dylan Dwyer, and
Yeah.
It was really unbelievable, and I was super nervous going on, and I called my dad beforehand, and he's like, "Just be yourself. You know what you
Yeah.
did is what made you get here. Just speak from the heart." And I'm like, took a deep breath, and what helped was it wasn't live, so I got to, if I made any mistakes, they would just cut it out. But one
Yeah, that's
part that
always
was
nice.
funny was I don't know if I was getting nervous or what, but at one point they're like, "Stop, stop, stop," and one of the producers comes over with a paper towel and starts damping my head with it. I guess it was too shiny for the camera. So
That's
now
funny.
imagine me being about five. I was like maybe 5 to 10 feet away from Dylan Dwyer, who's staring at me as I'm getting damped in the head with.
Yeah.
It was
That's
awesome.
another thing that'll make you insecure, right? Because you're sitting
Yeah,
there
I'm just
probably
like,
thinking, "Oh, I have
okay,
a sweaty head. I guess. I guess I
okay,
look wet."
okay.
Yeah.
But it
It
was
brings you, it brings out that tells you, it's another way for them. It's kind of like the commenters, they're letting you know what your flaws are. Like, hey, your head's really way too wet for TV. So here's a towel, and we're not going to tell you. We're just going to come passive aggressively pat you like a dog.
yeah. And then they're like, oh, by the way, okay, now we're gonna do some activities with the kids. I'm like, okay, great. So I put music on. They're like, oh no, no music, copyright. I'm like,
Oh yeah,
oh.
that's a tough
Can you move
ask.
the cameras out of the way so I have more space? No, we can't do that. So I maybe had like a 10 by 10 space with
Oh
about 30
no.
kids to make it work. And what I had originally planned all had music, so I kind of had to think on the fly. And luckily, I had a few activities that I've done in the past that I know the kids enjoyed. But it was really cool. And what was really humbling was when it was finally on TV. All the feedback that I've gotten was amazing. But Dylan Dwyer, I think they posted it the end of September. It was on Channel 4. And then the end of December, they had posted it again because Dylan Dwyer had mentioned that was her favorite segment of that calendar
Oh, that's
year.
awesome.
So that was cool that they replayed it. It was really 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 cool.
So you had to come up with that activity on the fly. And that is a special skill of PE teachers. And I want to put you on the spot again, if you don't mind. I want to put you on the spot again. I have this little segment idea called Institute of Tagology. So for any listeners out there who are not aware, when you're a PE teacher, we're basically like games experts. We're educated, we're trained in pedagogy and how to teach kids and how to design lessons. But the subtext, the reading between the lines, is that we become experts in creating games essentially out of nothing, right? So in this segment, I want you to come up with a tag game based on your life, right? Like, and like I do this. I'm sure you do this too. Like anytime a popular movie comes out, like you probably already have a K-pop Demon Hunters tag game queued up for your students. Minecraft tag last year. We see the movie, we read the book, we come up with a game, and the kids love it, and it creates a memory, and they'll remember it for the rest of their lives. So, if there was a game called Coach Gelardi Tag, what would it look like? What kind of equipment? What are the rules? Go ahead, tell me about your tag
Yeah,
game.
I like this segment. I mean, my bread and butter is always keeping it simple. So I'll have a
Mm-hmm.
pool noodle. I'll have one tagger or maybe two, and you know, I'm into soccer. I'm into being positive. I'm into phys ed. So I'm thinking maybe I'll have three taggers, and one tagger will hold a red pool noodle. And if you get tagged by that, that's my soccer passion. You're gonna go to the corner and try to juggle a soccer ball 5 times before you can get back in the game if you get tagged.
Okay.
Maybe a green pool noodle would be positivity. If you get tagged, you got to go up to someone, give them a high five, and tell them something nice about them. And then maybe a green pool noodle for the PE life that I'm in. And you get tagged, you got to do 10 jumping jacks before you come back in, and have like my world in those different areas. And and
So
then like
tag by the red noodle, soccer juggling. Tag by the green noodle
would
was
be
the high five.
green noodle would be 10 jumping jacks, some
Oh,
sort of
10 jumping
exercise.
jacks.
And then the red one would be saying something positive.
The red one was soccer. Do we need a third color?
Oh, but then maybe it
Because
was
I'm
blue.
actually going to play this, so I just want to make sure. I want to make sure I have the
I'm
right
getting,
equipment.
I'm getting
I
confused.
want These are playable games, so we
here
need
we
to
go.
make sure.
Blue, if you get
Blue.
tagged, you say something positive to someone while giving them a high five.
That makes sense. Blue is a positive color.
Green, if you get tagged, you go to the corner and do an exercise. Maybe 10
Okay.
jumping jacks, make it easy. And then red, if you get tagged, you go to the corner and juggle a soccer ball 5 to 10
Juggle a
times.
soccer ball.
And
Okay.
I'm a big Met fan too, so maybe I'll do orange for Mets. If you get tagged, you gotta run to the corner, pretend like you swung a bat, and go, "Let's go Mets" or something. I don't know.
Let's go, Mets.
So
All
I'll
right.
just add, like the four.
I'm already picturing like the presentation for this, like the do you use, like, when you present a game to your students, do you have like your screen with like a diagram of the rules and stuff? Because I'm already picturing that for this game.
So we only recently, this past last year, did we get a smart board.
Okay.
And we haven't really been using it as much as we'd like. So to be honest with you, I'm the screen to them, and I'm just showing them how to play it so far without.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in this game, I'm assuming the taggers would go for like do you usually play like 2-minute rounds for tag?
Yep, first round is like just learning how to play, so maybe a minute
Mm-hmm.
or two, and then I'll blow my whistle. And this is probably where I'll say, okay, new movement, skipping, give it a try.
Give it a
That's
try.
what I
That's
do.
what I think.
Yeah.
That's what I think this game was missing. I was going to suggest at the end of the round when you're selecting new taggers, like let's say I'm a tagger and I have my red noodle that I was the soccer tagger. When I select a new tagger, I give it to them, and then I have to do the give it a try thing as I'm giving them the noodle, right? You
Yeah,
have to
I
add that in there.
I was initially thinking, okay, let's say I'm the tagger. I tag you. It's like 10 jumping jacks. Give it a try. And I tag you.
Give it a try.
3 push-ups. Give it a try. I just tag you. Jog in place 10 times. Give it a try. And I'm just kidding. Just tag everyone. But then you
If
have
there's
to
anybody
move
listening
between
who's
your
not
knees
for-
before you clap. It's
Anybody
like,
who's not in on this joke, if there's anybody who doesn't happen to be a PE teacher who might not be following both of us, Coach ends most of his videos with "Give it a try," and it's basically just kind of like his sign off. It's like "Stay classy, San Diego, Ron Burgundy." You know, it's like the clap. And he actually taught me how to do it last summer in New York City. We made a little after my show at in East Village. I did a show at New York City for the first time, and Coach came out with his wife and brought a bunch of other PE teachers there, and it was awesome. And I appreciate that, because if you hadn't have come, I think there would have been like 5 people in the audience besides you and your group. But you taught me how to do the give it a try. There's a certain technique to it, right?
yes. And it took me about 15 to 20 videos to master. But you
To
were
perfect
great
it.
when you were in New York City. I'm so glad that worked out. You were
That
really
was a fun. Yeah, I can't wait to come back. I do love New York City. I wanted to talk to you more about being in New York City, because it's such a big city. Teaching in New York City, you know, I taught in Chicago, but Chicago compared to New York City, Chicago is like a small country town. I always feel like anytime I fly back into Chicago, I'm like, oh, I missed my tiny little country town in the Midwest. Like I'm assuming you have a pretty small gym, but you're fortunate to have an outdoor space. So like, just real quick, like teaching in such a big city, like what's that like?
Yeah, I mean, our district alone, I think we have 28 elementary schools. Like, we're a big district. I would say my equipment closet is also my office. Where my office should be is where all the cafeteria staff puts all their excess of food.
Mm-hmm.
Where the locker room should be is where the OT, PT, and all those people are. So, like, we're sharing our space.
Not a
We
lot of
had-
personal space, it sounds like.
We had a ceiling leak since I've been there that they've been, for the past decade, they claim they're going to finally fix so that they can redo the floors. And from the last time I heard, they finally fixed the leak and painted the ceiling. So supposedly we're going to have new floors, which would really be amazing. People are going to
I gotta send you pictures of my school. It's so funny how many parallels. Like, we're the same person. My school in Chicago, I should show you pictures of when I used to have to teach with just buckets on the floor. Like, I would be like, hey, we're gonna play while we're playing this game. Watch out for that trash can and don't move it, because if you do, the water's gonna get all over the floor and the floorboards are gonna end up being warped. But yeah, it takes them forever to fix those leaks, doesn't it?
And then, sure enough, a ball will bounce into the bucket, and the kid go, I'm like, no,
course.
leave it. And the kid's like, I need to get the ball. I'm like, leave it.
Don't touch that water. Don't touch that water.
it.
That water is roof water. That's like coffee being brewed through the disgusting
Yeah.
roof that probably hasn't been cleaned in 20 years. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, yeah, and for me, I was more scared. I'm like, oh my God, there's gonna be more leaks. Like, they're gonna shut down this gym, and I'm gonna just have to be outside. So I was just like, just stay those leaks in those corners. Luckily, it was never in the center of the gym.
Yeah.
I got kind of lucky.
All right, I wanna wrap this up here because we've been going for longer. I don't even want to say because it's embarrassing. I told you 30 minutes and we flew past that.
You can
But
cut.
for
Yeah.
the final segment, so this is my nerd alert segment where because we're jocks, right? We work in athletics and sports. Your background is in soccer. We teach kids how to move their bodies, how to exercise, but that's not everything we are, right? And what I'm trying to do, at least with this segment for this podcast, is kind of bridge that gap between the jocks and the athletes and the other folks, the quote unquote nerds, because that's what I was when I was in middle school and high school. I was more like a nerd. I was more like a theater kid. And I want to just kind of show people the other side of our personality. So for this nerd alert segment, I want to give you the soapbox, the platform to just kind of rant about something that you are a nerd for. And it doesn't have to be anything, traditionally nerdy. It doesn't have to be Star Trek or Harry Potter. It could be, baseball cards or whatever it is. So go ahead, Coach. You have the floor. What do you want to nerd out over right now?
Yeah, and I was thinking about this because I was an athlete in college. I really didn't nerd out on anything in particular. But my latest thing is I've been big on like TED Talks, like motivational speakers. Like I just can't get enough listening to it. Like it's like people at the end of the day they'll watch something on Netflix to relax. Like I'll
Mm-hmm.
listen to someone talk about positivity, and I'll go for long walks, and I'm just because what I do is when I listen to it, some of it I apply. You know,
Mm-hmm.
there's so many people that listen to motivational speakers like, oh, that was great, that was really cool, and then they go about their day. They don't change anything. They just
Yeah.
okay. But for example, I would listen to this one person. This is back in 2020. He said something about don't take anything personal. Don't take things personally. It's not you, it's them. And I can't tell you how many times like a family member would do something to me, or a coworker would do something, and it would just eat at me. And after he
Mm-hmm.
said that, I'm like, I just took a deep breath. I never took it personally, and I accepted people for who they were, and I just felt better. And so I kept listening. Another one was like, be patient and be present. And I took that to heart because I was noticing I wasn't very patient around my own children at home. And every time I was impatient, it always was because I had my phone on me. I was looking at my phone, and then I would be like, cut it out over there. But
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't present. Had I not been
Right.
on my phone, I probably would have seen what happened earlier, and I would never had to raise my voice. So now,
Yeah, that's huge.
when I'm around my kids, I'm completely off my phone, and it's been a complete game changer. I'm so present. I'm so unbelievably patient. I meet my kids where they are, and I've just been blossoming at home. And so it's like little things like that, and I get more and more hooked. And now that I have a keynote speech coming up, and
I was just gonna say, have you considered giving talks
planning
like that
more.
yourself? Yeah.
Yeah, and so now I'm really, really been laser focused on listening to other people speak, and how how can you say something and have them want to apply it as opposed to just listening to it. Oh, that was great, coach, and then just moving on.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
want them
yeah,
to be
yeah.
able so I've been, it's really the TED Talks and the motivational speakers.
That's really cool. So you're a nerd for being inspired
Positivity, I guess.
and positivity,
Yeah.
inspiration, being inspired, but also inspiring others. I'm glad to hear that you're giving a keynote. Do you see that in your future, like speaking at conferences for like institute days? Is that something you've considered?
I don't really know. I this is before 2020, I was just making an impact in my school, in
Hmm.
my community. That's kind of, I felt like that was good at that time. I felt that was good enough. It wasn't until I really dove into social media that I realized the power behind it. And what I really like about social media is that I only see my kids once or twice a week. There's only so many activities. There's only so many games I can play per year.
Right. Yeah.
But with this platform, like I can share anything. I can share things I've never done with them. I can share things I've seen that I may do with them. But because of this platform I have now, I've been blessed to be able to present places, and I'm recognizing that people are looking at me as some sort of guru. Even really, I'm just an experienced teacher, but because of this platform, they think that I'm this guy, and so I've been trying to be that person. Because when I go to these districts and present, there's about, let's say there's 30 people. There's 8 or 9 of them that are like me and you, that are passionate, that are doing their best day in and day out. And then there's another 10 that are just there. They're going to listen, but they're kind of there because the principal's over there watching them. And then you always have like the 3 or 4, sometimes even 5 teachers that are in there that really have no business being a teacher, or absolute disgrace to the profession. And because
they're probably really good coaches, though. They probably got some trophies. They probably got a case full of trophies.
But they're the stereotype. Like, we are the stereotype, because you have those percentages, and it's like, so my motivation is like, how do we minimize and get rid of those people from the profession? If they don't want to grow and learn, then it's like, push them out.
Yeah.
For me, I'm so deeply interested in the next generation. Like, if I can, and I've gotten emails like this in the past, and it's been amazing, where I'll have someone in high school say, "Coach Gelardi, I came across your channel. I didn't know what I wanted to do in college, but because of you, I want to go into phys ed." And I'm like, yes, get them while they're in school, and hopefully I can mold them into being the best PE teacher they can be.
Yeah.
Instead of going in it because, I didn't become an athlete, so let me coach and, phys ed, okay, let me just do this,
There was I think it was a Facebook post I came across recently. It was from a brand new PE teacher who was saying something about how she felt self-conscious about going into phys ed because she has cerebral palsy. And she was talking about how she's self-conscious about, like, when she's showing kids how to dribble a soccer ball. She's like, not really sure how I'm going to do that. And I didn't comment, but I think I'm going to. I think I'm going to go back and tell her, listen, you're going to be better than most. You are the absolute best example of who should be teaching PE right now, because you're able to teach kids how to overcome, whatever it is, whether it's a disability, whether it's some kind of like mental block there. And that's really the important part, is showing kids how to move your body, work with what you have, and just teaching them to be passionate about movement and about exercise and wellness and health. So I love that that's your motivation, and I think that's awesome. And I think everybody should follow you at Coach Gelardi. And you're on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Am I missing any other platforms that people can follow you on?
On YouTube. You can look up
YouTube.
Coach Gelardi or Phys Ed Zone. Yeah, YouTube. I'm on Twitter, X. Yeah, I'm on. I think Instagram and TikTok have been the ones I've been posting the most lately.
Okay. And are there any exciting things coming up that you want to plug, conferences where people can hear you speak?
Yeah, so I'll be in OKC. I'm going to Oklahoma State Conference. That's where I'll be doing my keynote.
Okay.
Since I won the National Teacher of the Year award, which has been amazing.
Congratulations on that, by the way.
Oh,
I should have said that in the beginning.
That was
I'm going to say that in your intro for sure.
But because of that,
Teacher of the Year, Shape America Teacher of the Year.
Yeah, no, because of that, I'm having this opportunity to present in different areas of the country, which is really, really cool. And like I said before, it's like, I just want people to care. It's the craziest part. Like, if you can just care, you're going to be better than 40-50% of the phys ed teachers.
Everyone needs to know that everyone should check out and see what's happening in Coach's gym, in my gym, in this next generation of PE teachers, because we are not rolling out the ball, playing dodgeball, watching kids climb up a rope anymore. Like, we really are trying to make an impact on these kids' lives, and we're working with what we have. So I appreciate what you're doing, and I can't thank you enough for coming on here and spending all this time with me talking about your life. And everybody should go follow Coach. And thanks for coming on today. Appreciate it.
Tom, thanks for having me, man. It was a blast.
And there you have it, folks. What'd you think? That was long. That was longer than I intended. I thought we were going to be doing like 30 minutes, but we just kept talking. Was it too long? Did I lose ya? Was this episode too long? You got to tell me. I'm very insecure. Tell me. So give me some feedback. Let me know what you thought. And tune in next week for episode 3 of Gym Class Podcast. Again, please give me a 5-star rating here. Email is gymclasspod@gmail.com. You can give me all the feedback you want. Ask me questions, whatever you want to do. And then come see me on September 21st if you live in Arizona, okay? I'm going to be at Mic Drop Comedy Club, which is in Chandler, right outside of Phoenix, September 21st. I've got some other shows coming up in the Midwest in October. So come see me live, angrygymteacher.com for tickets. Have a great day, everybody. Signing off now.
Mark. Get ready. Ready. Start. Your test is over. Remember to run in a straight line. And run as long as possible. Your test is over. The Fitness Gram Pacer test is a multi-stage aerobic capacity test. A single lap should be completed each time you hear this sound. Your test is over. Your test is over.